This is the Outliers Edge podcast, where we champion the leaders who are shaping the next era of humanity by taking them to the edge of their comfort zone so that they can lead us to the edge of what's next. I'm your host, Niiamah Ashong. Let's do this. Hello there. Niiamah Ashong here, founder of Outliers Edge and leader of the Trailblazer Oasis, where we bring together people who are shaping the next era of humanity. And it's really wonderful because we do this in a way that continues to provoke your thinking and also just like challenge what you think is possible. I'm here today talking to someone who has actually challenged a bit in his life. And I'm really excited to see and explore both that story and share that story with you, and also spend some time exploring like what he's challenging next, right? So today, the outlier that we're talking to is Dr. Varun Gandhi. Varun, it is an absolute pleasure to be getting to know you, to be in space with you. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic, Niiamah. Thank you so much for having me. Love and abundance, everyone.
Love and abundance. Let's do this here. Like, we're going to spend some time exploring your stories, but like I would love to just start off and just get to let's call it the brag zone. I like to just start off here and get a chance to see who you are from almost like your highlight reel, right? So can you share some of like I know what I want to say. This conversation is probably going to focus a lot more on your internal journey, your inner journey, the person, like what you needed to do to become the person that is here in front of me right now, right? And because of that, oftentimes I tend to miss the external journey. So let's just give some space right now to like who you are from like an external person, like who people on the street see you. So let us know some of your accomplishments, some of the things that you're proud of, and then we'll continue on there because I think our conversations can be far deeper than that.
For sure. So some of the external achievements, let's say, I was so focused on my degrees and all my education that I have two advanced degrees, a master's degree, a PhD degree in environmental engineering. Then I switched careers and went into, I worked for a couple of years. I didn't really enjoy it. Then I switched careers, went into completely different entrepreneurship and kind of just understanding where I belong. So along the way, I've tried out many different things, put my hand in everything to understand, okay, is this something that I'm passionate about? Is this something that I can help people with? Is this something that I'm good at? Combining all of these things into the services and the products and everything that I'm offering today. So some of the things that I've done along the journey is like leadership positions. We had created an organization for our community, the Gujarati community in LA. And we started from scratch, and within 2 years, we had like 2,000 members. It's the huge kind of community building together, and I really enjoyed doing that. This was pre-pandemic. Along with that, I've held leadership positions at Toastmasters, for example, something that I'm proud about because one of the challenges for myself has been my speaking and expressing myself. So just putting myself through Toastmasters has been a blessing. And what else would people see me as? I think I'm a new parent, so a new father.
Congratulations. How old is your young one?
2 months.
2 months. So really new. Oh, really, that's precious. Congratulations on that.
I'm still kind of getting into that role of being a dad, transitioning into it.
I do. I like my kid now. He's almost two. But there's an element to it. It's cool talking to you. I see your smile. I see the way that you go about things here. I think your child is lucky to have you as a father. Like, it's congratulations. Enjoy the journey. And thanks for finding ways to still contribute and be out in the world during this time as well. It's good to hear that.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. It's been a challenge the first couple months, but we're enjoying every step of the way.
Yeah, there you go. I'm like, yeah, it's been a challenge. Makes sense. Yep. And look, I'm like, I'll be honest, and like we can talk about. We'll see if this actually plays in any part of our conversation. But I think one of the what I get about you is that you've taken the time to develop yourself to go on like a deeper journey and understand yourself. And when you say like really creating the space for that new role, like there's things here. What I don't want to say, what I do want to say, what I don't want to say is I'm like, I wish you like just that integration part of you. I wish you all the best with that as you bring in this. I can feel that right now. Awesome. So like I'm hearing a lot from you here. I'm hearing like what I'm getting is like you're a leader. You're a leader. And you also like know to invest in your own growth here. You have 2 advanced degrees. Like you've told about some of the things you did with the community. Right before we came on here, you were talking about a nonprofit that you're part of. You mind sharing a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, for sure. So that nonprofit is called Joy of Sharing Foundation, and they've done many, many different projects before I became a part of it. And during the pandemic, I received a call from a friend of mine who have worked, previously in that building that community. We had worked together, and he said, "Look, there is an opportunity here. There's an organization that has a lot of resources. They have funding. They want to do something for the community. People are hurting. They're losing their jobs. Businesses are shutting down. People don't have food to put on their tables. So what can we do?" And we came up with this plan of let's meet up in May, early May, on a Sunday, put together some grocery bags and go out into the community and just hand it out to people. And that's what we started doing, just one Sunday. Then we came back the next Sunday and the following Sunday, and we met for over 20 Sundays, put together about 8,400 bags over this time period. Along with that, at the very beginning, about week 2, we asked ourselves, what else could we do? And we realized that people not necessarily have a home to cook all the supplies that we were providing them with. So why not provide hot meals as well? So cook these meals and then distribute them. So we started with that. We started with 100 meals, 200 meals. Then we said, you know what, we can expand. We have a full commercial kitchen. Let's find a team, a group of volunteers that could go into this kitchen and utilize it to the best of its abilities. And so from then on, we were able to make 1,000 meals every Sunday. Now we're doing 1,500 to 2,000 meals. Even to this day, we've continued. We've crossed the 200,000 mark, and we're going upwards to 500,000.
So this is 200,000 meals served or 200,000 people touched?
Both 200,000 meals served, and that's going out into all parts of the community.
Yeah, I really want to make sure we captured that there because I think that it's fantastic. You said the name kind of quickly. Can you say it one more time for us?
It's the Joy of Sharing Foundation.
The Joy of Sharing Foundation. I hear this, and some of the things that come out for me is the simplicity of just answering a call, right? You pick up a call, both the physical call and like a much larger call, right?
Yeah.
So I hear that. B, the simplicity of saying, well, let's just do it this week. Now let's do it with what we have. Okay, let's put together some bags. All right, now let's go do that again. See you next week. Yeah, what I love though is also like just the quick inflection point. By week 2, you're like, all right, well, what more can we do? Of course we can do this, but like what more? We're not going to stop doing it. But what else became available? That helps me see a little bit about like how you move, how you think, where your leadership lies. Where it's like, okay, let's get something started, but you're looking for opportunities to create and give and take to higher levels. So much so that you've gone from that, and in the last 2 years, then we're looking at reaching over 200,000 people, like, and consistently asking the question, moving things forward and things like that. And so I'm just catching a little bit of like Varun style. It's going to be important for our conversation here because I want to tap into like what you do to tap into that, and B, as we go on, I'll be like, all right, so let's see. I get that you things move when it's around you. So let's see where things go from there. What do you want to add to anything related either to the nonprofit, to your style as a leader, to the way that like this thing came to life here? Because I like to make sure that we're playing on both like what we see on the outside, and then talk about the things that most people don't see. You know.
No, I mean, thank you for bringing those up and reflecting back on what I just said, because I'd never seen it that way, right? Like I've been mentioning this many times, but I didn't see it the way you put it. And so thank you so much for reflecting, Niiamah. The thing I'd like to add, I think, is I pay attention to the signs, like universe is constantly sending us signs and these messages or inklings to move in a particular direction. So I pay attention to that. I've started to do more of that in the last couple of years. And this was essentially that. It was I'll give you a little bit of backstory behind this too. So before I got that call in April, in February, March, I was in India, and this was right before the pandemic. And I'd visited. I was in Mumbai, and then I'd gone to another city, a smaller city called Rajkot. And while I was there, I was visiting my uncle there. He said, "You know what? I have this kind of like a guru who can, help you if you have any questions and things like that." And I'd been very interested in this, so I said, "You know what? You brought it up. Let's go meet him." And so we met him. And I told him, look, at this point, I'm working on creating a meditation center. So out of the same facility that we run our kitchen, I had actually created a meditation center there as well, pre-pandemic. And he said, you know what? While you're doing your meditation, why not offer them free food as well? So that you offer food, more people will come, then you can give them the meditation. So that kind of planted the seed in my mind. And then in April, I got this call. And as you could say, the rest is history. But yeah, I mean, it's just paying attention to these signs. And I feel like it's slowing things down for me that's helped me pay attention to these signs. And one thing that's helped slow things down for me is meditation.
Okay, so now let's pull this here apart. Like, so you're gonna see this with me here. We're gonna talk a little bit of story. We're gonna be like diving in, slowing down. Like, I want to get to see you. I want to understand like how you work. And because the beautiful thing is we all work differently. And if we can understand how we do it, then we can do it intentionally. I think Dolly Parton is known to say like, no, like figure out who you are and then be you on purpose. I'm paraphrasing that, but it's not right there. So I'm hearing how like the signs were coming to you. In that there's a bit of this. Let me look at it this way. It seems like you say yes. Like when opportunities come, it seems like you say yes. It feels like because your advice was like take note of the sign. Don't like see the signs, But I'm like, I'm just seeing the signs. Like a lot of people see the signs. They're like, oh, like I should do something. Like I'm thinking about myself with like weight at times. I'm like, oh, I'm gaining weight. Signs are there. No action change, There's something beyond just seeing the signs. It's like see the signs. And what would you say? How would you take that to the level of like what it is that you actually act on?
I think it's seeing the signs, feeling, like sitting with it for a while, because I have to like feel how it feels. Like, does this feel right? And once I confirm that, okay, yeah, this is good, then I'll move forward with it. Sometimes I'll say yes to everything, and then there's, it's like way too much going on, and I can't handle it. So I have to slow down. I have to pull myself back and start saying no to a few things. So it's kind of like a tug and war, like push and pull there in saying yes. But yeah, I think it's making sure that it feels right in the body as well as I'm saying the yes.
Okay, so that's really good. I'm glad that you brought it in there, Varun, because eh, the I like that you like let's slow down, because when you don't slow down, if I'm getting like you can say yes and it becomes a lot. And I talked to a lot of people who like have played a different game. They're high achievers, high performers, high level leaders, and they burn out, or they don't. They're out there giving to everyone else, because I'm hearing a lot of giving, but they don't have any room for it to come back because like everything is happening all the time. So I'm actually hearing in here this like the meditation. People tell me a little bit more about your slowing down process here. We'll move on from it afterwards, but I just want to give space a little bit to slow. I'm going to slow down on slowing down, if that makes sense.
For sure. So my meditation journey, I'll kind of go back into the history of it. It started through pain and suffering. I had gone through a hard breakup while I was graduating my PhD. So the last about 3 to 4 months, I was going through a breakup, and I was also working on my dissertation, working on my final presentation that I was going to defend at the end. So it was a rough time for me. First couple of months, I remember, waking up and not accepting my reality. Because this is just after the breakup, and I'd wake up having dreams with being with her, and then reality is completely different. And so that kind of sensation, it was always like bringing tears to my eyes. Like I didn't want to accept it. And so initially what I would do is I had to create, because I was graduating in 3 months. I had a hard deadline there. So what I did is I used comedy. Jon Stewart was on The Daily Show at that point, and I would watch his 20-minute bit to kind of brighten up my day before I get started on it. So that's how I got into it. And then I had a period where I kind of moved into the darkness, meaning I moved away from all the memories and all of those experiences I had with that past partner, moved far away from it. And that was my chance to start anew, start fresh, kind of dive deeper into myself. But I started running away from it because there was so much pain, so much suffering. I didn't want to deal with it right then and there. I moved across country to Boise, Idaho, and I was that's where I did my consulting job. And the first about, let's say, 15 months or so, I did everything I could to run away from it. I would drink alcohol, I would do whatever to numb the pain, eat fast food, literally poison my body with all these nasty stuff. And about 15 months into it, I realized what I was doing to my body. And so finally, all of that pain, suffering, and the unhealthiness in my body caught up with me. And that's when I picked up this book called The Book of Secrets by Deepak Chopra. And in this book, at that point, it was very high level book. So 95% of it went over my head. But the little bit that I picked up was meditation. And so when I left my job, I moved back to Atlanta. That's when I started a meditation habit, a meditation ritual in my day. And the way I did it is I was renting this one room in my friend's place, and that room had all my belongings. So what I would do is I'd sit in the corner, face the corner, so all of my belongings are behind me, all the distractions are behind me. The only distraction remained was my phone. And I would sit there, and initially I'd start off just trying to do multiple different things. It's just experiment with it. I didn't take classes. I didn't really put myself out there in terms of meditation. I just Googled what meditation was, and based on that, I kind of created my own ritual. So I tried out multiple different things, and every time I wouldn't be able to sit there for 5 minutes. That was my goal. Just be able to meditate for 5 minutes. Take that first baby step. I don't want to go for 30. I don't want to shoot for 15 even. Just do 5 minutes. So initially I'd sit down there, focus on them in the corner, and I'd close my eyes, and the first question would pop up is, has it been 5 minutes yet? And I look at the phone, it's only been 20 seconds. And so then what I did is I set a 5 minute timer on my phone and kept my phone far away. So this way that question doesn't pop up. My phone is not a distraction anymore, and I could really just sit there and start meditating. So that's the beginnings of my meditation journey.
Yeah, as I hear this here, I laugh because I get it. I go, the part of what I hear that sounds also really interesting, you'll see me just like pull out some things, is that I'm actually hearing like a lot of like quick time iteration, and like from the standpoint of like, all right, I'm gonna meditate, I'm gonna put it in here. You set a goal for yourself. The goal didn't seem outrageous. It's a lot longer. 5 minutes is a lot longer when you haven't stopped to meditate. 5 minutes is a long time. I my first time was 2 minutes. I was listening to all these different podcasts, and they're like, you can do 2 minutes. I got 2 minutes done, and then I was like, well, I could do another 2 minutes. Ended up being an hour that I sat down because I was like, oh, this is something's happening, But I get it that like what I'm hearing though is like these micro elements of like, okay, let's go. 5 minutes yet? Nope. Okay, let's go back. Let's make some adjustments. Let's go and change things up. And it seems kind of innocuous right now that we're talking, okay, yeah, it's meditation, there's low stakes, all that stuff here. But I'm like, maybe it's low stakes, but it's like the process that you use for this, I'm hearing you do that again with, with the nonprofit. And it's like, okay, week 1, like, can we do something? Yeah. How are we going to do it? I don't know. We'll get some bags together. We'll go out and just do something with it. Okay, great. Week 2. Hey, you know what? I think we can step this game up a little bit, and just like I'm seeing, like, I see that you're like, it's like this quick action, but also just a good feedback loop and iteration that takes place. Let me get your thoughts on that. Does that feel true to you?
Yeah, that does. It does. Now that you're saying that out loud, it's kind of what I've done throughout, even like during the meditation. It took me a while to get to 5 minutes. It was, maybe like month 3 when I actually was able to sit down for 5 minutes. Up until then, it was 1 minute, 2 minutes, but I would give up. But the key is I would come back to it the next day or the second day, and I would make sure I sat there to actually, just show up. I think that was the key, just showing up at least the first 2 months, just show up, whatever it is, whatever happens. And so once I started showing up consistently, then I said, okay, what's the next thing that I could add on? And okay, now I started fine tuning my meditation. What's the meditation that I enjoy doing? Because there are 1,000 different kinds of meditations. I could, what's that one that I like? And so I started learning that.
I hear this and like Outliers. I'm like, as you're hearing this here, we're talking meditation right now because this is his journey. But what I'm hearing is a process to take of how do you start new things. And, I know a lot of us get to a place where we used to do new things and that didn't really feel all that new. And now we're in a place where we have kids, we have like bills to pay, we have like responsibilities, all those things, right? No, but like, and it becomes harder to start something new, or at least it feels like it's harder to start something new. And so as I'm like part of what is really energizing to me about listening to this, yes, it's meditation, but it's any skill, it's, you talked about like being really proud about like being a leader in Toastmasters, same thing, and I really just like, I acknowledge you for like your willingness to keep stepping into new, willingness to keep growing. I get that you're good at learning, but it's something completely different to like, to practice being, to learn, like it's totally something completely different to practice slowing down. It's like I'm sure you could have studied for hours to be able to accomplish what you've accomplished academically, and yet like, hey, here goes a test, make it 5 minutes, and it's a completely different ball game. So I really want to acknowledge that here and pull out some of these things as it goes along. Let me ask you now, like if we fast forward to like this moment right here, and then in a bit, we're going to just see where we can take things in terms of what's coming up next for you. But if you fast forward to this moment right now, what are you really excited about? What are you really proud of that you're working on right now? Bring us up into this current moment. Like my general thing is like, what's your mission and how are you bringing that out to life right now?
Yeah, there are several things that I'm really passionate about as I've.
First, that doesn't surprise me. It's just like I'm like I hear that, I'm like, yeah, makes sense. Got you. All right.
The one thing I'm going to say that is once I left that job, everything that I've tried since then, this is 2014, end of 2014, everything that I've tried since then is new. Like I never knew that I could do so many different things. Because at that point, like imagine the space that you're in right now, imagine that being a whole bunch of like millions and trillions of dots. I was so focused, my career was so focused on that one particular dot in the room that I was ignoring everything else around it. And once I graduated, once I said, you know what, this dot is not it for me, I need to explore all the other dots. And so I started exploring everything around it. And in the last about 7 years, 8 years, I've explored so much that I thoroughly enjoy the process. So what I'm working on currently is the nonprofit donating meals. We're going to be continuing that all the way from the end of the 2020, continuing into 2023. There's no end in sight. There are homeless populations all around. The thing that we're iterating on it and working towards is, hey, how can we replicate what we're doing in LA or at this facility at several other facilities all around the country? So we're creating a template. We're creating documents that we can hand it off to another person in New York and they could replicate the same thing in their cities and their states. So that's one thing that we're working on. The other things are, I really enjoy helping people live a better life. And one of the ways that I'm doing that is there's so many great healers, so many great coaches like yourself, Niiamah. There's so many amazing people out there that are really, really, really great at what they do at their craft. I find that technology may be a challenge for them. They're really good at what they do, but technology, they may not enjoy working it. They may not enjoy doing that. So I'm helping entrepreneurs. I'm helping soulpreneurs, heart-based entrepreneurs on all of the technology aspects. So whatever help they need, we can fulfill that. I enjoy doing that. I have the engineer inside of me. I said, you know what, I could still bring that to this day and help people through it. So that's one of the ways. And then the other thing that I'm working on is this idea called "What's Your Story?"
Tell me a little bit more about this here. I'm curious. We're talking a little bit before we started.
Yeah. So this is the idea that, again, this has all come through meditations, reading several different books. I've combined several different concepts and understanding how it works in my life. I've been able to kind of come up with this concept over the last couple of years. The idea is that at every moment of our life, we're creating a story. What do I mean by this? Like, let's say you're going through a situation right now, and every time you sit down to try to make sense of it, Like try to connect. Maybe there's 3-4 different events that happen. You're trying to connect the dots between those events. That's a story that you came up with. And it's based on your experiences, your individual memories, your individual, defining moments in your life. If I were to look at that same set of situations, I would probably come up with a completely different story in my mind, because my story is different from yours, right? So one of the ways that we do this on a regular, ongoing basis is, I'll give you an analogy. We're sitting in a movie theater, we're watching a movie on the screen, and the screen is a tool that helps us watch the movie. There's a projector in the back, there's another tool, and there's a film inside the projector. That film is the essence of the movie. Now, in our lives, we have a projector, that's our imagination, that's our third eye chakra, that's projecting all of these different images onto the various screens in our life. The screens are the people in our lives, the places that we visit, the situations. Every individual moment is a different screen in our life. And there's a film that's inside of us that a projector is collecting all of this data from that film and projecting all these different images onto the screen. So this whole course, and the idea is, what can we do with that film now that we know that there's a film inside of us? We can start editing that film. We can start reframing our experiences. We can start moving things around so that this film will actually get us to where we want to go. A lot of the times, the film, the data in the film is holding us back. And the course will uncover what those areas are. It's a self-discovery process. You're doing this yourself. You're understanding yourself. You're understanding how all of your past experiences have brought you to this point. And like I said earlier, 30 years of my life, I'd never done this. I'd never sat down and introspected. So this is the opportunity for someone to sit down and go dive deeper into all of their experiences, all of their memories, and really understand how their past has made them who they are today, and then create a better future for themselves.
Awesome. That's cool. Like, I love to spend time with practical ways to like help people choose something different, right? We here at Outliers Edge, we champion the leaders who are shaping the next era of humanity. There's an element of that that's just like, how do you actually like free yourself to go and step into playing at that level? So I like where we're going with this here. I find that when people like you who spend their time giving to others, I find something here. People like they give, and there's not as many people who are in there helping you. All right. Remember, you were talking earlier about a guru that was there. I want to create some space right now. We'll do two things. I'm going to create some space to support you on some part of your journey that's upcoming. Right. We'll spend about 10 minutes on this. My ask is that you, during this time, you be really selfish, right? Like you just just come here for you. Like, don't worry about anyone else and it's going to relate or anything. I promise you, what I have found is that when we spend this time, even in 10 minutes, as long as you're choosing something that is actually important to you, like it translates in just huge waves. 1, 2. At the end of this year, I'll give you a chance for to share a little bit more about well, actually, let's do this because I feel like I want to just give us the space so that we can just go right up to the top of the hour. If someone's interested in what's your story, or they're in a nonprofit or something, how can they stay in touch around that? Let's make sure we capture that, and then we'll go on to the next part. Then we have to break the energy for that. So share a bit. How can someone find out more about either of those two?
So the website is drvarungandhi.com, and I'll send you the links for that. You can connect me with on Instagram as well with the same name, Dr. Varun Gandhi, if you have any questions regarding the nonprofit, regarding the work we're doing. If anyone's in the LA area, they'd love to come by to our facility. We could show them around. They could volunteer with us. We do this every Sunday starting at 7 a.m. till about noon. And all of the information about the course is also on the website, drvarungandhi.com.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad we came out and just did some of this right here, right off the bat. Hey, let me ask you this, Varun. We've been talking a little bit here. I feel my energy is I want to pour into Varun now. He's been giving us something. I want to go and really support him because there's something real that happens in this. It's a totally different flavor of the conversation. Are you open to that? Are you good for that in this conversation?
I am open to it.
Okay, cool. So let's go in here. I would tell you this. I've changed lives in 3 minutes and less. So having 10 minutes here is a lot of space. I also need to I want to give more time for this in the future. So what I'll say is we'll have the conversation we have. And if we need to continue it, I'm happy to make space for that as well. But my general thing right now is we're here, we're in this space right now. And I have to own lives change what around it. Like you said, just show up, right? I'm I've showed up, you've shown up. Let's make the most of that. Right.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. So here goes the thing, Varun. I'm going to hide nothing and hold nothing back from you. Are you good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm here to serve and co-create with you rather than please you. Are you good with that?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And I've had a track record of having life-changing conversations. I don't shy away from it. It's I create life-changing experiences. Are you down for this to be a life-changing experience for you?
I am.
All right. Awesome. Cool. So we'll play this year. And we'll see how it plays out. Let's stick with the life-changing now. What would you need to bring into this conversation? If you look at where you're heading right now, looking at the projects that are available for you, the opportunities that are available for you, and your capacity to be with all that, right? If there was one thing in this conversation that we can talk about that would honestly change the entire game for you, change your life, what would that have to be?
I think it's being more at ease with myself, expressing myself.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about that.
I've had this challenge in my life where I haven't been able to express myself openly. And when I do, it comes off as maybe arrogant, maybe, I'm forcing it, I'm pushing it. And so I haven't been able to completely gain that or enhance that side of myself right now.
Yeah. What's the message that you would want to be sharing if you had that enhanced and totally taken care of?
I think that'll help me in every sense. Let's say, for example, with finding partners for the technology aspect, right? Working with clients, for example. So being able to express myself will be able to, make better friendships. Be able to my clients will be able to trust me. That's one aspect of it. The second one would be speaking opportunities with this idea of what's your story and sharing that with people. I think it doesn't readily naturally come to me to be able to share myself. 2022 has been a great year. I've been on podcasts like yours, been able to open up and express myself. So it's been a great start, but I don't feel like I'm completely there yet.
Yeah. Okay. Help me see here. What would completely there be for you? Because I'm in this conversation with you, and trust me, I know what it's like to pull teeth in a conversation, and especially in a podcast conversation. I know what happens the moment I hit the record button. People change, they shift, they flow, they stop flowing. It becomes, and I have to be hey, just don't worry about anyone else out there. Please just be here. I'm experiencing you as someone who is expressing himself. So I'm very curious, what is it that is not here that you feel should be? What's missing for you right now?
I feel like it doesn't come naturally to me in the sense of, okay, let's say I was 250 rolls around and I have this nervous sensation inside of me, oh, I'm about to do this podcast. And I feel like nervousness is fine, but there's a sense of a little fear inside of me. Of what if I mess up? What if this has happened in the past where I was in a presentation and I froze. But this was also a part of my life. I was very unconscious. Anytime I put myself in the situation of sharing or speaking in front of a large group of people, I would, get extremely nervous, sweating from all around, everywhere. So I was in that space once, and I feel like maybe that's still carrying over. Where just the fear of messing up, a fear of just freezing where people are watching me. Yeah. Or when the camera's on.
When the camera's on. Firstly, thank you. Thank you for saying this. Thank you for trusting me with this here. How often do you tell other people around this, especially when you're going to speak or when the camera comes on?
How often do I share this story with other people?
Yep. And yeah.
If they ask, for example, if I'm in a podcast interview and it goes there, then I will bring it up, but I don't normally share that.
Yeah. And in not sharing, is it something that I'm like, help me understand that experience. It's 2:50. You're about ready to come on here, right? You're asking yourself these kinds of questions, like, what is the experience coming in until you feel like relaxed or whatever it is, like until the expression is coming. What's that experience like for you? Describe it to me. Describe like what you feel in your body. Describe like any kind of emotions that you're feeling. Let me understand that.
I think this emotion was a lot stronger earlier. The 2022 has been I've done a lot of this work, right? So last year, I'll give a great example. So I was.
Hold on, before we go back to the past there, right? I want to, the reason I'm pausing you very deliberately right now, it's for two reasons. One, I'm like, realistically, is this still an issue for you? Have you crossed the finish line and not giving yourself enough credit for actually finish like running the race? Yes, you can run another marathon, but you finished like the half marathon. Like, let's just check in on that.
That's a good question. I would say I don't know if I'm completely there yet. I don't know if I feel completely free and open to share myself. Like meeting a new person, I don't know if I'd be, openly sharing myself in that situation. I'd definitely be more comfortable than before, but I'm not completely there yet, I'd say.
Okay, cool. And so what's going on in my mind, like I'm curious, but so I'm there's things that I already see things I can suggest and all that stuff there, but making suggestions is easy. I want to get to like what's like really underneath this here. I'll give you something that you can have here. My hope here, my invitation for you is to go into conversations and just tell people this up front. Just go into a conversation and be like, hey, you know what? I'm excited for this year. I've had in the past, I've frozen, and I'm like really like I'm not even gonna hide that from you. I don't want to hold this here. Like I see you smiling here. What's going on as I say that?
It felt good when you said that.
Yeah.
It felt relieving, I'd say.
That was my sense was like, I'm like, oh man, he has to carry this secret around until like it resolves, and then like hopefully it comes out, and then it shows up later on as if it was an issue. And I'm like, I don't know, like, what if you were able to free yourself? One of the tools I use a lot, especially when I'm trying to learn something new, and I recognize and I realize that I'm afraid of being caught and found out. That's the first thing I put out there. Hey, you know what? I love speaking. I've done Toastmasters. I've done this, been a leader there. And I'll be honest, I've frozen on stage. So even as we come into this conversation, like I'm good. I feel great about it, but I feel that energy in me right now. And let that happen. Let that, whether it happens before the record or after or whatever, but just speak truth to it. Be honest about it. And change it for like, give it a chance to not have to like run you in that regard.
Not let that fear take hold of me.
Yeah, and give it a space to go. It's what I often find is like it's not the fear itself, but it's like it's the energy that's used to like make sure that fear doesn't come to life.
Like suppressing that.
Yeah. I'm like in my mind, I'm like, I wonder if he's wondered about this like during this conversation. I'm like it's been super smooth. I'm giving this guy a chance to change his life, and he's like, yeah, a year and a half ago I froze. I'm like, but like you're good right now with me, and so like so yeah, especially like it goes in my mind that goes to, okay, what can we do so that if this thing comes up, it doesn't have a hold on you, and you can let it go. I tend to be, here's the thing, I'm fun like this here, but my thing would be like this. I wouldn't go onto a podcast unless it makes you feel like you're going to freeze. I wouldn't say something unless you feel your pits just sweating out, because that to me is an indication of like, oh, you're stepping into something new. There's an element here of like, you do new things. You challenge yourself, you take on things, you iterate, so on and so forth. Like my thing is like, what if you haven't been feeling this for a while, then you probably haven't been pushing yourself in a bit. And so like my question would be like, what if this wasn't a bad thing? And instead it became like a new pal of yours, a new thing that's like, oh, by the way, your mission just got stronger. You're playing a bigger game than you were before. Like you're in the spaces, and let them know, but then move on. how would it feel to like actually run toward the opportunities that will make you like, I don't know, that would bring up this sensation?
I feel like initially it would be very scary to run towards it, but then after doing it a couple of times, I think it'd get much easier.
I mean, you literally just told us that story over and over and over again here today. I think that's why we're gonna wrap up for today, but that's why I'm hearing this here and I'm like, this is something we can do. If I talk to him in 6 months, like this is happening. You're already on your path. You're already in your iteration elements around this here. Yeah. I'm like, I feel you. I'm happy that you're putting yourself in positions around it. There's an invitation to like, there's something else. There's something else for you, but like, there's an invitation to like, I don't know if you need to be as, I don't know, even just like we came into this coaching part, right? I created new agreements with you in real time. I was like, hey, I'm going to hide nothing to hold nothing back. It wasn't like I was thinking I was going to do it beforehand, but I needed to create something with you to let you know, like, hey, this is how I'm going to do it. And also give me the space and freedom to not be like, oh crap, can I just tell him like, I mean, like, I don't think like, can I just say this here? So I created that space here. So that my invitation right now is that I have a sense that like there's something much bigger at play that can really serve you here. Let's wrap up that conversation and complete our conversation here right now. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm like, there's something much bigger at play. There's something much bigger available for you. And I invite you to bring that to me. All right. All right. Varun, let's wrap up the conversation here. What's one insight, one takeaway that you got for yourself? And then one thing that you want to share with anyone else? And then we're at the top of the hour. So let me make sure we're good with that.
Yeah. The one insight is, I think I'm much closer to, towards the end of the speaking fears and all of that. I think I've definitely gotten a whole lot better in this aspect. And the thing that I could share is that I haven't actually brought up is the aspect of water doctor. And it started off with my PhD. That's the doctorate in water engineering. But now I've kind of transformed that into reminding people to drink more water. And that's it. Just reminding people to drink more water.
So I'm going to take that as like, that's a reminder right now to just take a sip. Outliers. Let's just hydrate real quick. All right. Cheers to that. Well, Varun, it's been a pleasure getting to know you. I wish you all the best in your journey. Yeah, let's keep playing from here. All right.
All right. Thank you.
I'll talk to you soon. Most certainly.
We're just getting started. Take 10 seconds to think about your greatest insight from today's conversation. And if you're ready to go and bring this to a deeper, more applicable level for you, come and join us in an upcoming masterclass. Go to outliersedge.com/masterclass to be coached live and to bring your aspirations, your goals, and your challenges and have them handled in real time. This is high flame, high impact, high transformation. Go to outliersedge.com/masterclass and come experience your next level of leadership.